injury section of this interview may be fairly short, but how are you looking on that front heading into the game at Huddersfield?
Yeah, we're looking good. Obviously, like every team, every week there's little niggles and players carrying certain things, but overall, we're not too bad.
Any players that you're worrying about on that niggle side of things, or everyone largely okay?
No, everyone's mainly okay. Look, it's, as I say, it's week to week where you always got players that can't do certain things at training because it's just where they're at. But overall, we're in a pretty good shape.
You told us last week that Arthur Morgs moved into his own place. How's he settling in now as a result?
Yeah, good. His partner will be coming over, in a few weeks' time. So obviously that's when she does, he'll settle even more. But no, he's been great. He's settled in to the new environment, obviously new country, new surroundings. But he's a confident young lad and very approachable. He's. Or would have thought he'd been here longer than what he has been in terms of how he sort of fit into the environment. But yeah, so far so good. And obviously, once he starts playing, then he'll start to settle in even more.
Has he tried to stay fairly close to East Hull, or is he living further out?
He's not too sure yet where he's going to live. It'll be something that he'll work out when his partner comes over.
You talked after the game at Lee about integrating him into your various systems and what have you. Given he spent most of his career at Catalans, what's it been like perhaps navigating that cultural barrier and the differences between how you operate and how Catalans operate?
Yeah, most clubs seem to run the same sort of shapes and I think training very similar in a lot of ways. We've got obviously our beliefs and our systems and certain things that we do that are probably different to Catalans, but it's just about adjusting and him learning what we value. But as I said, most clubs sort of these days do a lot of the same sort of stuff, and it's helped that he's had players that he's played with before to help him ease into what we do. So far, mate, as I said, it's been a smooth transition. As of what I'm enjoying seeing him is the relationships he's setting, that he's making with his teammates, and that'll continue to grow. As I said before, as he starts to play down the track, and once he settles in when his partner comes over.
You said he's available for selection. Both him and Jack Broadbent are very versatile players. What's the difference between his skill set and Jack's at fullback specifically?
Well, Jack can play certain positions. Jack can play wing. He can play centre. He can play fullback. Has played in the halves before. And Arthur we see more as a fullback, but can play in the halves. Both players are fast. I think Arthur, playing more in the halves role than what Jack's played, probably, finds a pass. Jack's certainly doing that as well, but I think that's probably something that Arthur, does have to his game. But they're both runners, they're both running fullbacks when they do play at fullback. So they're very similar in that way. Arthur's lightning quick. He's very fast off the mark. And Jack's probably more that stronger, ball carrier than what Arthur is. So, similar plays, but different at the same time.
What are the chances of Arthur being involved this weekend then?
Yeah, there'll be a chance that he'll play. He'll get named in the squad, and then we'll name the team obviously before the game. Work out what we do later on in the week.
In terms of the player that Arthur's come in for in a swap deal, it's been confirmed today that Niall Evalds is out for 3 to 4 months with a broken foot over at Huddersfield. How much sympathy do you have for your former player in that regard?
Yeah, obviously not good news for Niall and for Huddersfield. It's just an unlucky injury. I'm not sure exactly how he did it, but I remember watching the game and the commentators sort of said at the time that they weren't aware of how he did it. It's not good for Niall, but he, he's a resilient young man, and I know he'll get through it, and no doubt when he does come back, they'll have a very, very good play on their hands. But it's one of those. It's just unlucky, and of course we sympathise for him and hope he recovers quickly.
While we're talking about Huddersfield, how much are those injuries in their spine hurting at the moment?
If you have injuries to any member in the spine, it can disrupt you. But they've put players in who are doing a job. They had to move some people around last week, and they still, although that wasn't one of their better games, they've been in every other game. So it doesn't matter who they put there. They'll have players that are ready to go this weekend. There's no doubt about that. They'll want to respond after last week. They've got Gagai coming back. They've got a couple of players, I believe, coming back. So they'll whoever they put in the spine or whoever they put in their 17 will certainly be looking to put their best foot forward this week.
You talk about them being in pretty much every game up to the Salford defeat. I think in all of them, barring that game, they led at half-time. Given that half-time is such a pivotal moment for you as a head coach, what can you put your finger on in terms of why they've not been able to build on those half-time leads in those games?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not, I don't see what they do at training and I'm not in and amongst it, but I certainly looked at what they've done before that. Being in games, we pointed it out today to the players, exactly that stat. So we know that they're going to be, they're a physical team. They like to, they like to get numbers in tackles and slow the ruck down. They like to spoil you when they defend. So we know what they're capable of, that's for sure. And, as I said to the players and just pointed out then, they've been in all games bar last week. So, we know what to expect going to their place this Sunday.
As a result, what kind of shape do you think they'll be in mentally, given they're winless in Super League, out the Challenge Cup? Some may look in from the outside and question what they've still got to play for at this stage of the season. Yeah,
I'm not sure. That's something I think you have to ask their coach. I'm not, in the inner circle, and all I'm worried about is that the mental approach that our players take. Certainly, that's all I focus on, and I'm worried about. So it's just about channeling my energy and our energy into that.
In terms of your own players, how was their free breakfast this week?
Yeah, they enjoy it. They always enjoy a free brekkie. They certainly deserved it, and they've earned it. So, it's something that we like to reward the players with after achieving a 0 against any team, but especially a team against Lee. Was a real solid performance, but especially in defence. It's what we value. It's what the players value, and they certainly enjoyed the rewards that come with it.
Is the breakfast coming out of your pocket or someone else's?
Tom's, our media manager.
I'm sure his wallet has been severely dented by that. I know at Hull City, when they enjoyed back-to-back wins, their chef would make them steak for lunch. How important are those small incentives to motivate your players?
Yeah, it's something that we've done before as well. Yeah, those little whether it's a barbecue, today's a great day for a barbecue. But yeah, I mean, it's something where we want to reward an effort, and something that they've achieved. Like we talk about celebrating little wins along the way, and that's just something that we do internally, and the players value and we value. So I think there's a lot of importance. There's something in it because that's what we value. We value our defence and what we do and what the players do for each other on the field. So I think it's important that you reward it. Did
you have a barbecue today then as well?
No barbecue today. We've got some lunch, but I don't think it's a barbecue.
You spoke to Richard Stead after the Lee win, and you said that you believe that there's always improvement to be made, specifically off the back of the performance against Lee Leopards. Where do you want to see those further improvements against Huddersfield Giants?
Yeah, I think it's now about being consistent with what we've done in and around our defence. It's making sure. So there's little areas like on the weekend where Lee, found some pockets in our defence. We tried to solve it on our own a few times where then off the back of that generates quick play of the balls and we're on the back foot. So it's probably just about in and around the detail now of our contact and what we do after our contact. So, the most important thing now is we maintain our attitude and our effort in defence. That's the most important thing for us. But now it's the detail in and around that. And once you've got both, then that's when you'll keep improving and getting better. So, the main work on, I suppose, is the detail, in and around our effort and attitude.
And I know you said as well you're not putting much stock into the fact that you're still unbeaten at the start of the season, but what do you think has been the most impressive aspect of how you've opened the campaign?
We haven't got too far ahead. I know it's cliche, but we have taken it game by game, and I think the improvement in each game, like what I've enjoyed seeing is, when we do a review, we work, obviously have our improvements and our maintains, and we are seeing a difference the week after on the areas that we need to improve. So as I said before, I want to see some improvement in around our dual contact and what that looks like after that, with our wrestle the ground, all that type of technical stuff. So hopefully we see a bit, a better improvement this week, but we're also maintaining the areas that we're doing well as well, which is good. So if we can keep doing that and combine them both, then we'll keep getting better. So, we just got to make sure that we keep working on the areas that we need to improve, but also maintain the areas that we're doing well.
I know you said you're taking it game by game, but given the last couple of seasons, you've won the first two and then lost the third. Why have you been able to kick on so far this year?
Look, it's a difficult question to answer. I think what I do know is that we've had a squad now that have been together, long periods of time. There's a core group of players that were here before my time, but certainly since I've been here, your Jez Littens, your Minchellas, your Batchelors, your Hadleys, your Mikey Lewises, players like that now have been playing together for a few years, and then we've added some players that have come in last year and again this year. And I think when you have players that have played together for longer periods, you get that cohesion and understanding. And look, I think there's no doubt in the world that bringing in Jared and Mickey Mack, that is added experience. Obviously, Rhyse Martin before he got injured, but those guys certainly help as well. You can't get ahead, and we don't think too far ahead, and that's probably been the area for me that I've enjoyed seeing the growth in the team. Just worrying about the next job, and that's the most important thing. And so far we're getting that right. There's going to be times we may not, but as long as we're consistent with our approach and consistent with our prep, which we have been, as I said, having the core group of players that have been together a while and adding in the experience, that's probably some reasons behind it.
Not looking too far ahead, as you say, but some have watched that performance and that victory over Lee Leopards and have said that you may be the team to beat now this season. How does that make you feel?
In rugby league, you're always going to have people that are going to have opinions on, where they see teams and all that. That's what it's about. Media, that's their job. So we can't control that, and it's all part of the game. I think it's important to, that people have an opinion. That's why they love it. We don't, respectfully, we don't listen too much to it because we've been, in positions before where we've played quite well, but we've lost games and then people write you off. But we know where we're at, and vice versa. You can be winning games and you're probably not going as well as what you think you are, and everyone's talking you up. So we just, as I said before, we just want to keep getting better and keep improving, and then it's we'll see where we are towards the back end of the year.
How do you get your players not to listen to that outside noise as well then?
Throw away their phones. Tell them that newspapers, are they still going these days? No, look, you're always going to see with Instagram and social media these days. You're always going to see. Look, I'm on social media, so I see things as well. But it's being able to manage it. That's the reality. You can't just say, "Oh, don't look at it," or "Don't." It's being able to manage, and I think when you've got an honest group internally of knowing who we are and what we're about. That's what matters. As I said before, we could play. I'll go back to the early games when we played Wakefield. I was happy the way we played. We were happy internally the way we played against Wakefield. We could have got beaten that game. We ended up getting the result. But there were areas that we needed to get better in and improve in. And if we did that, then we'd go to the next level, which we did. But people were writing us off and saying, that we're probably not the team that we were last year. Then we beat St Helens and automatically we're the favourites to win the comp. So it's around how you manage. I I suppose it's internally how we review our games and how we look at the next game is all that really matters internally, and being honest in and around that. So we're going to get people outside and media that are going to have their opinion, and they're entitled to that. It's all part of the game.
And I suppose as part of keeping that focus within the camp, there's obviously been the news about the ticket sales for the Challenge Cup quarter-final next weekend. How important is it that your players don't look beyond this game against Huddersfield and have their eyes on that big Challenge Cup derby?
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week.
Brilliant. Just finally then, Willie, it'd be remiss of me not to ask you, as an Aussie, how excited are you about the return of the Ashes later this year?
Yeah, awesome. I think it's going to be great for the game here, and obviously, the NRL, the Aussies coming over. I think it's going to be a cracker. Like England, the team that they've got is an exciting young team that they've got a lot of experience, and it's going to be. I'm interested to see in terms of what the bookies do, because they obviously are the ones that set the odds, and then it's going to be a challenge there for the Aussies coming over here and having a 3-game series. But as a kid, I used to watch them all. I'll be certainly watching this and looking forward to hopefully having a number of players in this team, representing England and their country.
My next question, your answer to it may leave a few people here smarting, but what are your favourite memories of Ashes series gone by?
I used to love. I think from what was it, 82 Invincibles? Was that the Ashes? When the 1982 Invincibles, I used to watch that over and over and over. The Australian Invincibles. When they toured over here, there was a piece or a video on that series, and I used to watch it over and over and over. And then, so I started watching it at a very young age. I was born not long before that. It's been rugby league's been in my blood for many years. So it doesn't matter who's playing, when they're playing, I'll watch it. But certainly, an Ashes series, I'll be watching it, and certainly going out to some of the games.
And you talked about it earlier. We're of course a long way away from it. Injuries, etc., could impact the competitive of it. But at this stage, how competitive do you see the series being between the two sides? Yeah,
I think it'll be extremely competitive. I think it'll be the most competitive for years. The Aussies, obviously, whatever team they put together will be, extremely good team. But are the Aussies as good? Are we as good? Because I'm from Australia, as good as when. You had your Cronk, Inglis's, Cameron Smiths, Billy Slaters. That was a gun team. There's going to be a very good team that come over this year, but the Super League is certainly improving, so that the guys based over here are no doubt going to be better for it. Playing in a really, really competitive comp, and obviously the English guys coming over play in the NRL, and we know at the NRL how competitive that competition is. So. I think it's going to be. Honestly, I'm not just saying it to sit on the fence. I'm interested to see how the results go, because I see what the competition's doing here and the product, how it's improving here. But also, it's going to be a close series, especially being played over here, and the Aussies having to adapt to the crowds and that type of thing. Looking forward to it.
And just finally, from me, Willie, how much pride would you take if some of your Hull Kingston Rovers players were involved in the Ashes series later this year?
Yeah, any opportunity. I like our players playing representative rugby. So the better we can go as a team, hopefully, more of our players get in. But it's something where that there's players in the English sort of set up at the moment. We've got 3 in there at the moment, but. Hopefully there'll be more by the end of the year that are certainly in and around Sean Wayne's mind. Hopefully we just keep, as a team, we keep winning, and it helps certain individuals be able to then play for their country, which there's no higher honour than that.
Willie, thanks for your time. I'll pass
Cheers,
you.
Ollie. Thanks, mate.
I'm all good, thank you.
I'll jump in for a quick few. Hi, Willie. Hope you're well.
Hey, Josh. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Just to clarify, given it was announced as a loan deal, will Night Level do his rehab with you or still with Huddersfield?
No, he won't. He won't be doing it with us. Yeah.
Right, yeah, so we remain at Huddersfield, thank you. Just a quick word, obviously, every week we sort of mention how games are won in the middle of the field and how well your pack is doing. How do you reflect on your forward as a whole and anyone that's particularly stood out for you?
I think the pack itself's going great. I don't think there's one particular player, and that's how we want to be. We want to be a pack. We've had certain games where, say Jesse's might have stood out, or Jared's been better in one game, or Joel Whitbread. We've got. I don't want to single anyone out because I think everyone's been great in their own right. Obviously, Dino's Dino. Like every week, I think he got man of the match last week here. The pack's been awesome, and I'm a massive believer in forwards win games, and then the backs and the halves by how many. That's it's something that's always been said in rugby league. I sort of go by. There's no doubt, the bigger games, then your spines start to have a bit more of a an answer in that. But majority of the games are won through that middle third, and whoever wins that middle third often wins games. So, Huddersfield this week will be. They'll be trying to win that middle third as we will. I think they possibly got a couple of players back this week, so it'll be a good game, and there's no doubt that it'll be won through that middle third.
Nice one. And just finally for me, I think you're one win away from matching the 1984-85. I think they won. 1 win away from matching that. I know obviously you won't want to look into that too much, but just to comment on that, obviously it's a good place to be with how many you've won in a row to start the season.
Yeah, it'd be nice. We always talk about, as we said before, with the chasing zeros, you want to celebrate little wins along the way, but we're not looking too far ahead. Obviously, the main thing at the moment is our prep and getting that right, and then turning up with the right attitude and to put in another performance that we're proud of.
Thanks, Willie. Best of this weekend.
Thanks, Josh.
Hi, Willie. Do you mind if I go next? Just building on that pack question there. Just want to talk about Jared in particular. Obviously, 5-6 games into the season now. How do you think he's settled into Super League life? Yeah,
really well. It's Jared. What people don't see is what Jared brings in and around the place. I've seen quite a number of players obviously come through and in first grade, and there's not many better than Jared in and around standards and intensity and understanding what culture is. He's certainly we've got really good leaders and strong leaders, and Jared's certainly added to that. So that's a big main area that I've enjoyed watching Jared in and around the place, and he makes other people around him better, and that's the type of player that he is. He's, I like what he's doing in defence. He's doing a lot of work defensively, and then with the ball, he'll certainly get better as the pitches dry up. But overall, really happy with what he's doing and how he's settled in.
And in terms of this week, heading into the Huddersfield game, is that an RL mentality that he brings, that every game is as big as the next one? Is that going to be big in terms of the mental approach going into this one?
Yeah, the beauty of Jared is nothing changes. Like when he first turned up, his first session to today, to whoever we play every week's the same, and that's what we try and do as a team. Talk about consistent performances. That's how you get consistency. He's been consistent with who you are and what you do, and Jared's. He's a perfect example of that. He's consistent with the way he is as a human, as a bloke, and he's a top fella. He's consistent with what he does at training, with his intensity. So, nothing changes. Doesn't matter who we play or what's happening that week. He'll still be the same.
Yeah, and just finally, Oliver Gildhart, obviously is getting a run of fitness now, and obviously he's playing in the side. Are we seeing the best of him at the minute? Yeah,
there's no doubt that I said to Ollie during the week, he's playing the way he is because of his pre-season. He had a really strong pre-season. Obviously, he would have been disappointed, not playing in the GF the back end of last year, but he had time then to reflect and get his body right, and he worked hard. He didn't miss too many sessions at all. I think he's missing any in the pre-season. And when you do that, you set yourself up for a positive year. Now, look, rugby league can change, but there's no doubt in the world that he's set himself up to have a strong season, and he certainly started off that way. He's got X factor, we know that. But what I'm enjoying is he's playing physical. You know, he's not the biggest body, but defensively very good. And as I said, he's committed when he's carrying the ball to play physical.
Thank you very much, mate. Cheers.
Cheers, mate.